Mr. Thomas, you are her father.
Manipulation has gone too far this time for Mr. Milner. He was devastated to find out that his wife made him a fool. The defendant made him believe that he was the father of their son, but some doubts have shaken him hard. And now he wants to prove his paternity.
Mr. Milner, you claim the defendant, Ms. Heath, deceived you into believing that you fathered her 3-month-old son, Zachariah Milner Jr.
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
say you love her son and would be devastated to find out that you've been loving another man's child, which is why you have petitioned the court to order a paternity test. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Milner stated his persona well, and he called himself a simple man who just wanted to have a family now, and right away told his wish to the defendant. But in his mind, his request wasn't taken seriously, and he quickly got a red alert.
Oh, you thought like can use him up. I got one that's just I can tell anything to.
Man, get away with it,
Your
yeah.
Honor, that wasn't the case. When I met Mr. Milner, yes, he did say he wanted the family. Of course, I wanted the same thing. I have other children, you know. This was not a part of the plan, you know. I didn't just see him and was like, oh, I got somebody that's gonna sit here and, you know, do the family thing.
How can the bell of danger ring so fast? He's exaggerating a bit, but we still accept it. Then the plaintiff said that they met through mutual friends, and suddenly his love bell got him ringing fast, and he jumped to his target to get on this family train quick.
You know, I get to talking to him, I get to feeling him out a little more. And I felt like he was intelligent, like he wanted something out of life. You know, I had seen something in him that I thought, you know, that we could make something out of this.
Okay. Were you in a committed relationship or were you just seeing other people too?
No, we were, as far as I was concerned, Your Honor, within a couple of days, we were in a relationship, literally.
So he got the girl on his side, and it happened fast, at least according to him. Then the plaintiff said that he was happy with the pregnancy, but that censor bell rang again, and he doubted the baby's arrival, as it was too soon for him. And he shared a crazy truth revealed by his girlfriend.
Sitting we watching TV, her head is in my lap. Me and her is talking real well. Next thing I know, she just bust out the tears. I mean, just go straight to crying. I don't know if the baby yours or not. Ooh,
That is not
so
true.
I'm like...
That's not true, Your Honor.
First note, he's a good mimic. And secondly, they had some pretty wild adventures, and they're proud of it too. Next, Mr. Milner was very confused about the conception dates and just banged the deck in desperation for answers. He also signed the birth certificate and expressed his crazy love for the kids.
I want that family. And when I seen him, I want a son. I already got 2 daughters. I want a son. I want that more than anything else.
But you have this doubt that just won't go away.
It won't. I'm hoping he mine, but like I say, at the end of the day, I don't know. If the mother got that, what am I supposed to do? If the time ain't adding up, what am I supposed to do?
Well, at least he admits his mistake during their lovemaking. Next, the conception dates were discussed, and the other possibility fell into those dates. Upon this, the defendant backed herself up, but a heated argument and some shady statements came forward.
I used condoms prior to Mr. Milner. I even contacted that gentleman.
You even told me that the condom broke.
made sure.
You told me that the condom broke.
Made sure.
Did you not tell me that the condom broke on your
I never said the condom broke.
So you
When did
never
I
said
say
that?
that? No, I did not.
Stop.
Did she tell you about her relationship with the other man?
She told me that sometimes they used condoms and sometimes they did not.
So this part of the drama was missing. But we can say that no one saw that coming from this lady. Then the judge asked the plaintiff about his decisions to be their son's father, regardless of the outcome. And here, we witnessed a different Mr. Milner.
I can't do it, I'm sorry. I mean, call me what you want to call me, just don't call me late for dinner. I'm gonna be out of that quicker than the Jerry curl when it get wet. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it.
So truly, there's a lot at stake here.
Of course, we have been on rocks for a while. So, you know, I can understand him saying that he's not gonna stay because I have to live this every day.
It was clear that Mr. Milner wanted the results so badly because he didn't want to stay away from his kids. And also, the defendant wanted to save her relationship with him. So, the envelope was finally opened.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Milner, you are the father. Oh, wow, I haven't seen you smile like this, Mr. Milner.
It feel good, feel great.
Daddy ownership is not on Mr. Thomas's plate, as he won't become a fool this time. Emptying his pockets for the defendant's daughter under false assumptions today, Mr. Thomas finally gave up his patience and required a DNA test to get his answers for good.
You've been petitioning the court system for a DNA test for 15-month-old Hannah Thomas.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you've been notified that you will be paying support because you signed the birth certificate, but claim it was under false pretenses. Now, the court will decide whether there's reasonable cause to grant you a DNA test today.
Mr. Thomas recalled that after their breakup, they were back together, and that's when she told him about the pregnancy. And he believed her. In his mind, his supposed baby should have been 5 or 6 weeks, but the doctor's visit opened his eyes to the truth, and he started solving the baby puzzle.
She couldn't have been 3 to 5 weeks when she first told me, you know? So that means she deliberately lied to me about the
Your
situation.
Honor, I did not lie about how many weeks I was.
Yes,
I
you
did
did.
not lie about anything.
Yes, she did.
I was honest about everything with him.
She was correct about that. She was honest with me.
What did she say?
She told me, oh yeah, I've been
I
having
told you
unprotected.
before August. I told you before
Okay.
August.
The dates are complicated, and so is their relationship. A break doesn't mean a new start, girl. So the plaintiff revealed that even after doubts, he stayed with her through the birth, but on one condition, that if the other guy wasn't the real father, he would sign the birth certificate. But it didn't happen like that.
And I had no problem with that, because I'm not gonna let just someone come in and destroy my family like that, you know?
He destroyed his family from the beginning. You had doubts, and that's why you're here. Because you kept on saying you didn't know if she was yours. And I was honest. I told him that it was a
Your Honor,
possibility.
Rakai's a
Because-
dirty fighter. She's a dirty fighter. We just can't
Right.
fight, and I go sleep on the couch and she's in the bed. No.
Okay, first you have a possibility, then to add fuel to the fire, you tell Mr. Thomas that he's not the father? How are you ever gonna win his trust? Mr. Thomas said they lost one of their twins, and even at that time, she complained that he didn't grieve much for the baby, and the defendant shared her bitter feelings toward his reaction.
Just because you saying you didn't do nothing on your break with me, but we were broke up. We wasn't supposed to get back together. What's wrong with that? And I was honest when we did decide we were gonna be back together.
After all that, after she was honest with me, I respected that. You were honest with me. Let's get this right. She was still sleeping with this man after Hannah was born.
I don't know what to say, but given this situation, both parties seem right in their testimonies. Both made mistakes and hurt each other, so in a way, it's all even. Then the judge asked the defendant about the 2 weeks ago incident, and she admitted that she told him about it, but Mr. Thomas was ready to attack again.
But my 3-year-old daughter was like, man, it was somebody over here that wasn't right. I didn't know him. Wow, okay. So what's going on, Rakaya?
What you mean what's going on? What do you mean what's going on, Your Honor?
But she had
like, I
another
wasn't
man
with him
around my
once again.
children, and
He had did some messed up stuff to me.
And another
like, why
thing
do
is,
he expect me to be
the
loyal
children
to him?
referred
He
to
ain't never
her
been
as
loyal to
Hannah's
me.
dad.
Her cries are on point. When you broke up and didn't want to carry on, then why do you expect fidelity from her? Their arguments had no end, so the judge brought in the plaintiff's witness, Mr. Hill, and he testified some more shocking revelations.
One time, me and Rakaya was hanging out in the house. They had got into it. He had left to get some air, and she had actually showed me pictures. I don't know if she was mad or I don't know if she was in her feelings or something. I had never told him this ever because I just didn't want no parts of it. I didn't want to get into it. But she had shown me pictures of who she really thought was the baby's dad.
What? Why would you shoot yourself in the foot? I mean, now it's more your fault than his. Sorry, miss. Then the plaintiff brought another piece of proof and taunted that he finally discovered the baby's father and showed the text's number to expose the games of the defendant.
You are admitting that you have a person logged into your contacts as Hannah's
No,
dad.
I do not.
So this isn't from your phone.
I don't know what that document is, so I can't answer that for you.
That's a screenshot of a text
You
message
can
that's been
look-
printed out, Your Honor.
Are you familiar with the number that's listed here? The number
Your Honor,
you
I
know?
wear glasses, so I can't see from right there.
Next, the plaintiff said that all these things have made him doubt the baby, and it's killing him inside. No one in his family knows about his problem, and it's hard for him to bear now. Then the judge asked both of them about their hopes for the outcome of this paternity issue.
That's my life, you know, they my life. All I do is work and have them. I have my job and I have them. And if they're gone, like, it's just gonna be my job. Like, and I mean, that's not enough for me.
I made mistakes, you know. I never meant to hurt anybody. I'm nervous, I'm scared. I just want him to be her dad, that's it.
The mistakes of the defendant and consistent doubts from Mr. Thomas only added more damage to their relationship, but it shouldn't have meant for their daughter because she was innocent in this war. So, without any further ado, the judge opened the envelope.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Thomas, you are her father.
Miss Jones has dragged her ex to court to prove to him that he fathered her 8-month-old daughter, Hazel. Her claim is stronger than his denial because Mr. Joyner is a devoted military veteran, so besides his service to the country, he also needs to pay attention to their daughter. But help will only be granted if he's proven wrong today.
Ms. Jones, you claim the defendant is an ex-boyfriend who got you pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 8-month-old daughter, Hazel.
Yes.
You and your mother petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that he is Hazel's father, so he will finally step up.
So, you don't know her name, but you slept with her, and now you're standing here. Come on, dude, at least come up with better lies. So Miss Jones's mother exposed him that she knew about their relationship and even spent time at his house, so his denial is useless. Then the defendant quickly changed the topic.
I know for a fact that she was having sexual intercourse with at least 2 other people from our workplace.
No. It wasn't 2 other people. Once we got serious, I cut all that off. And that was probably like, I give it take 3 weeks after that. I cut everybody off to be with him.
She was serious with him, Your Honor, very serious.
She got herself cleared. Good. Now what else? Then Mr. Joyner reverted that they pushed in on himself, but the plaintiff's mother denied it and added that she cooked for him in his house and everything went well, that he even asked Miss Jones to move in with him. But the defendant brushed it off with another story.
She was supposed to be moving to Texas in 1 week. She said, I'm moving to Texas with my boyfriend or baby daddy, whatever it was. So as far as I knew, in my mind, I was just gonna, do what it do with her for a few days and then she was gonna be gone.
But did I ever leave? Did I ever leave?
Exactly, she never left.
No, I was committed to you and only you.
Every time they try to expose him, he backs himself up like he was dumb and blind all the time. So the plaintiff said that after the pregnancy was revealed, he never called her back. They also argue that she slept around multiple people and she denied it. Then Mr. Joyner shared why he was only being trapped by them.
I have my own place. She's seen what it was, and she's seen my means of, what I had, and the other guy she was, guy or 2 that she was sleeping with at the time, and she thought that I would be the best decision.
Or we were together, or we were dating. We were in a serious relationship.
His reasons are quite right, but he also has been a liar before. We've seen that. He holds a respectable job, but doesn't know how to choose his words properly. His statements are very childish to the other party. And here, he talked again, but showed his stupidity more by exposing himself badly.
Now, I thank you for your service, I will say that. But if you're responsible, how are you having sex for 11 years and never using protection?
Who's to say I'm irresponsible? Okay, yeah, I could have.
I'm telling you are. For 11 years having sex and you're not using protection? Really?
I don't think that means I'm irresponsible.
You don't?
No.
A responsible military man, but ignorant and an idiot in real life. And he's proud of it too. It was no use arguing to him more. He wasn't admitting anything, so the judge brought in his mother to testify. And she had something else to say on this matter.
They brought her to see me when she was 2 days old. Olivia, I didn't find out till 2 weeks before that she was pregnant. I have a grandmother's ring I got in April. It has Hazel's name and birthstone right with the rest of my grandkids. I absolutely believe 100% that she is his.
And what makes you believe so strongly?
As a mother, you just know. You just know, and to me, she looks like him.
Yes.
So the mother is a firm believer. This adds more trouble for Mr. Joyner. But still he denied, and his previous experience does make his opinion valid. Then the defendant said that his mother only accepted the baby because she wanted grandchildren. But Mama Joyner had enough and told the judge the reality.
Hell no, you're not responsible to have a baby.
My little brother, he has 2 of them, and I don't have any.
It has nothing to do with that, because he ain't got his crap together either. Neither one, they're both young, I get it, but they're not responsible, Needs to grow up, and denying it is not gonna help. You're missing every day that you don't.
Yes.
The statements from the defendant had given everyone a headache, and despite his fears or opinions, the question of paternity was still important so that baby Hazel could have both her parents in her life. And the judge read the results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Joyner, you are the father.
Yes.
Sudden baby's arrival left Mr. Lamb in utter disbelief because his wife's sexual desires were on a leash, which led her to step out of the marriage. And we all know when such actions hit, there's no solution but a DNA test.
Mr. Lamb, you say your ex-wife was a serial cheater with an insatiable sexual appetite. You maintain she took advantage of your trust and routinely cheated on you in your own home, and there is no way you are baby Preston's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
While the mystery was lurking on, the plaintiff came forward and said that despite her bad marriage life, she was faithful to her better half. And the sexual encounter the hubby was hung on was proposed by him. Then why the fuss?
She's told me out of her own mouth that I'm not the father. And
Really?
I've heard from other people that they say that he don't look like
That is a lie.
After he was born, she told me she believes it was Jonathan's after the incident we had.
When he popped out, I made you apologize because he looked just like you. Do you not remember that?
No.
What's the point of creating doubt in your husband's mind right after the baby's birth? And he mentioned Jonathan's name. So what's the story behind that man and their marriage? Next, the judge asked them about the haunting incident, and the plaintiff explained Mr. Lamb's weird fantasies with Dear Jonathan.
He had told me about, the fantasy he had. I didn't feel comfortable with it, but I finally agreed. He took my phone and texted Jonathan and was acting like me and said something about us having a threesome. And Jonathan was like, I'm down.
I'm down.
Yeah.
You down, Jerome?
No.
So this was a good lesson of fantasy and turned it into a nightmare. I mean, who would be messed up enough to even think of such things? And now, instead of admitting his mistake, the defendant denied it and put all the blame on her.
He opened the door and came in on us.
Wrong.
And he asked us if we want to have a threesome. She agreed to it.
Wrong. His mattress was in our bedroom floor.
Why did his mattress have to be in your bedroom?
The kids was in a room, and we put his mattress in our floor.
What about the living room?
What kind of a circus did they have going on in their house? Who in their right state of mind entertains guests like that? So, the judge asked him more about her flirtatious relationship with Jonathan, and he shared their sweet moment on his bed.
She agreed after she couldn't finish to try it again, him and her.
No.
She said since she didn't get to finish that time that she wanted to try it again and see if it would be any better.
This is just a disgusting case. So the truth is there was more than one time.
Yes,
No.
Your Honor.
Absolutely not.
I believe he's lying at this point. His friend and wife were never comfortable. Then how can she say this? Their accusations are swinging freely in the middle with no hook to rely on. Next, the plaintiff said that all three of them were confused about pregnancy. Then Mr. Lamb shared the reason for his denial.
I do know she has over and over told me that he is the father and that he looks like him.
That he looks like the other guy.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
She's told you this.
Yes.
I mean, I told him there were similarities. If we get to thinking about it, yes, but there's a lot of similarities between him and Jonathan as well.
Not all desires have to be taken seriously. And look how it made you fall into trouble that now you are standing in the court to figure out the real daddy of the baby. But regardless of their mistakes, the results were read to end this confusion.
Mr. Lamb, you are the father.
Living her own life without parents was hard enough for this 35-year-old Mount Olive woman. However, the sudden appearance of some random guy claiming to be her father has turned her life upside down. Done with all the false claims, Miss Agee was ready to prove him wrong today.
Over the last 30 years, you have searched to find your biological daughter, who you claim was taken from you as a child. When you found Miss Agee, whom you believe to be your daughter, on Facebook.
That is correct.
Ms. Agee, you come to court today to prove once and for all to Mr. Fritz that he is not your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant already had a biological father, a man named Mr. Buster, who had abandoned her while she was just a child and never looked back. Though she kept contacting him, he remained cold towards Miss Agee. That's why the woman was not ready to ride the same roller coaster again.
You say you're my dad, but if you're my dad, then you would have come looking for me. I live in Thomasville, a little town that you can find me. You found me when I was already married under my married name. You didn't find me under my maiden name. My maiden name, you couldn't find me. I live in a small town. I can go in the middle of the town and scream out Danny and Fritz, and they're gonna hear me. You didn't come looking for me, because if you did, you would have found me.
And if you're wondering why the plaintiff never reached out to his long-lost daughter, it was revealed that he was incarcerated for a long time and was away from his town, but still visited Miss A.G. when she was 2 years old. One day, her family ghosted him without a reason, and he began his desperate search for his daughter.
And I thought you was an old school friend because I didn't even know you were my dad.
Right.
I didn't recognize the name. I'm 35 years old and you're telling me you're my dad? And I don't know how you got
And
my
from this
phone
point
number,
on,
but
I'm
you
going to do
called me.
anything at all that
And
you
I
want me to do to help you in your life and your children's life.
You say that, but
I think I've been showing you that, Angel.
you haven't.
Oh, why would you do that to him? Shutting him off her life was wrong. Then, Mr. Fritz said that he found Miss A.G. through Facebook and texted her to build their bond again. But to the defendant's surprise, it was a complete shock, and she didn't like it at all.
You contacted me on Facebook. We were talking. I
Right.
thought you was an old school friend because I didn't even know you were my dad.
Right.
But I didn't recognize the name. And then I was shocked. I didn't know what to think because
were both
here you
shocked.
are. I'm 35 years old and you're telling me you're my dad?
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to think?
She doesn't count his efforts as worthy. I know it must be hard to bond with this man, but still, she's numb to all his excuses. Regarding the daddy-daughter relationship, Mr. Fritz said that it started pretty well, but the defendant still had coldness towards him, which let him down. Upon this, the defendant attacked him again.
You do not believe he's your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm angry because he says he is my dad. If he is my dad, why wasn't you there? I needed a dad when I was younger. I'm 35 years old now. I've lived my life. I'm living my kid, I'm with my kids now. I'm living my life for my kid. And then he wants to pop up 35 years later and say he's my dad?
We know that she's hurt, and why not? For years you're missing from her life, and now you want to be a good father? It's not easy, man. Next, after seeing her constant denial, the judge finally gave her a moment to express her real emotions behind the anger, and she revealed her fears.
I'm here to help you. I'm here to be your daddy.
But you're putting out there that I asked you for money. I didn't ask you for no money. I told you what was going on.
Your father, or a man that believes he's your father for the money, he heard you had a need. His point was just to say, I'm there. I was trying to give of myself.
The hurt and resentment in the plaintiff's eyes were so much that she kept repeating denial and anger towards him. But now with this situation in the court, it was clear that they wanted the results so badly to end the confusion and have peace in their lives.
You are her father.
That's what I'm talking about. I love you so much, baby. I'm so sorry.
You can't be that mean and not be my youngin'.
Mr. Figures played his A game with Miss Jackson's heart, and now it's payback time. Ghosting her with a baby, and now the plaintiff hit him back in his face to prove to him that he fathered her son. The terms of the past have to get resolved today, and to win this game against him, she demanded a DNA test.
You say Mr. Figures was a smooth-talking Casanova who swept you off your feet and out of your clothes and then left you with a baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit to being a former ladies' man, but you say there's no way you fathered Miss Jackson's child. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Job Corps was an adventure ride for them, and Miss Jackson recalled the innocent attraction she had for Mr. Figures and their cheesy relationship in their youth. Wild thoughts of love and a hook of intimacy were an overwhelming desire that took them to the peak of madness.
At that time, when you're younger, sometimes people change their names. And I had another friend also. His name was
Mustafa.
She got a good memory. She calls my name twice. Third time, she called his name.
Oh!
Now, I admit I didn't stop because we was in the middle of handling
A very amusing story. It must have been a lot of fun to do this back then. And I'm glad he knew about the other possibility right from the start. Next, the plaintiff said that pregnancy was a complete shock for her, and Mr. Figures taunted that it was the Mufasa guy. but she explained herself on this matter.
Dealing with someone, meaning he had my back, don't meaning we having sex. But the person that he's talking about, he even went to him and told him, you know she's carrying my baby.
So I went to the guy and told him that?
That's what she testified.
No, I didn't go to him and tell him that.
There was doubt all along, but he never addressed it. And now he says he's not a runner? It doesn't add up. Mr. Majestic, that's cowardly. Next, the judge asked Mr. Jackson about his fatherless life experience, and the poor boy showed great courage in answering her.
She always told me don't run from your problems, so I don't run from my problem. I stay with her through thick and thin.
I have other children, and they dad come into their life. They come in, they take them places, they go here, they go there, you know what I'm saying? And it's always been me and him. He don't have nobody. I'm all he has, and he is all I have.
He is crushed with pain. And yes, he needs to have a father figure in his life, even if it's too late. The young man's tears and pain still did not affect Mr. Figures, and Mr. Jackson further shared that his father is meaningless to him now.
My closest friend, his dad died, but he's seen his dad. My other friends, they all know their daddy. They all have needs.
You have a right to have that relationship.
I don't want that right.
I know.
My mind's already set. I'm done.
I know.
This moment must have been hard for the poor boy, and his hate is valid for him. Everyone would have the same feeling about a ghosted father. But listening to this, his mother broke down and expressed her frustration over Mr. Figures and wanted things to improve for their son's future.
I have dreams of him coming to my house, or we, you know what I'm saying, like we meeting up or having a connection the way I never had my father. This hurt. He's gonna put that mask on, but I want him to be able to take that mask off and be able to be on Facebook like, what's up, Dad? Or post pictures.
The mother-son had led a hard life, but today's paternity question was very important for Mr. Jackson and his future, so he could have a full family by his side. And the only way to find Mr. Figures' paternity is by reading the DNA results.
You are not the father.
Oh my God.
I hope you find that, because everybody should know who their people are. My dad wasn't there for me either. So I'm sorry for you, man. I really hope you do find out who your father is.
The hunt for the real father is still on, as Miss Lons returned to court to find her daughter's biological father. Previously failed and devastated in their last attempt, now with a new hope, they've come back to get their answer whether Mr. Randolph was the real blood of Miss Noel or not. Let's see what the case brings this time.
You claim that while filming your popular reality TV show, a DNA test determined that the man you believe was your daughter Elite's father was not. That it was devastating to find out that the man you believed was your dad was not, and you now believe that his brother is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
In her own words, Miss Lons stated that her past reality TV life has damaged her a lot, and now she was clean and sober from all the mistakes of her youth and was desperate to find the truth today for her daughter. Then, Miss Noel spoke about her experience as a fatherless child.
I closed up with my mom. I also closed up with Vic, which is the guy that originally we, tested. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a bitter thing for me. I used to hide the story, you know what I mean? I didn't want to judge my mom, but I didn't want to be judged for it. I just didn't tell anybody that I didn't know who my biological father was.
Mr. Randolph shared that a confession of paternity by Miss Lons on the reality show brought trouble to him when multiple people told him that he was the father of Miss Noel. The suspicion was unsettling, and he only faced court to find answers. Then, Miss Noel shared a little about her childhood life.
From the time I was adopted up until 11, you couldn't tell me that wasn't my family. After that, I lashed out throughout my teenage years.
I gave custody to was my family first. They took care of me before you were born. So it's the choices and decisions that I made is the reason why the woman that you are today.
A lot is going on in this case. Two different fathers who are brothers. It's very complicated. Then Miss Noel shared that her adopted mother took her to the man David Noel, who was on her birth certificate, and he coldly pushed her away. Then, the judge asked the defendant about his relationship with Miss Lons.
Her and my brother and their friend and I were involved in a relationship. We did what we did. Had I known that it was even suspected that I was the father of any child, I've always stepped up to the plate. I know she was pregnant just about every time she was pregnant. That's my brother's girlfriend.
So the groupies were involved with each other so badly, then sure, babies would pop out. And sadly, no one would own them in the end. Crazy how people make mistakes and never think of the consequences. And now, look how they're standing here doubting paternity. Then, the judge brought one member of their band, Mr. Robertson, to testify in the case.
It was just a group thing, you know. I never fell in love with none of them. It's just.
So you never were in a girlfriend-boyfriend committed relationship?
Never a relationship.
You can't say for certain you did not sleep with Ms. Lons during the window of conception.
No,
you don't know.
I can't say that. I really can't say that.
His testimony has added more puzzles now. So everyone is freely sleeping around in the band, but none came up with responsibility, and now stood here confused about paternity. Next, Miss Noel said she never heard of Mr. Robertson before. Then, Mr. Randolph further explained his uncertainty.
Darling, I wish nothing but the best for you. You look so much like Nefertiti and my children till, yes, we really did think Vic was your father, especially because of Frankie and his relationship. No way under God's green earth that I ever think that she was my child.
The actions of these groupie people might have brought them a lot of fame and satisfaction, but they surely damaged Miss Noel's life completely. Now, after all the testimonies, there was only one way to end this unanswered question of paternity, and only DNA could tell the truth.
Mr. Randolph, you are not her father.
Sick of denial, Mr. Moore finally raised his voice against his ex-girlfriend's brutality. He claimed that Miss Scott had foul play with his emotions for 4 years and allowed another man to raise the baby girl he fathered. Let's watch how he was holding up against a dopey young girl.
Miss Scott, you say you are positive Mr. Moore is not your daughter's biological father. Once the test proves you right, you want Mr. Moore to leave you and your child alone. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, it started with Daddy's pain. Long time no see. He claimed that he had never seen his baby Allie because baby mama stood in his way, and when he tried to reach out to the defendant for her girl, she blocked his accounts.
I've never seen my child a day in my life.
But you're convinced she's your daughter?
Yes, Your Honor.
So why hasn't he seen her? If he feels that way, why hasn't he tried to see her?
I've tried to see her, Your Honor. She blocked me all sources of contact. She even changed her number. I tried to reach out to her on social media. I couldn't even get through on that.
Here came the relationship recap. She contended that they met through a dating app, and she took him in for her benefit, as he was nothing but just an escape plan for her. Uh-oh, that was mean. But what can you expect from a young girl?
I wanted to get away from that, so, I kind of led him on. I wasn't trying to pursue nothing, be no family or anything with this man. We met together. He asked me to move in with him. I moved in with him. We maybe stayed together maybe a month, and I left.
Your Honor, we had sex the first night I met her.
We so did not. We did not. We did not.
Oh, no. As you know, we never know who has bad intentions for us. But the baby mama was ridiculous and mouthful. She told that she already had a boyfriend when she laid down with Mr. Moore, so had never had pure intentions for him because he was her dummy like this.
I was currently in a relationship when I met him originally.
When you moved in with him?
Right.
So why would you do that?
Because he was my escape plan. He was my dummy, basically.
I want you to be honest, but I think you might have just taken it too far.
She went for a normal checkup and found out she was pregnant. So he knocked off the plaintiff from this paternity run and included her boyfriend only. But the man opposed her. He claimed that baby mama did not consider him the father, but informed her about the baby.
Your Honor, she called me and told me she was pregnant.
She did?
Yes,
Never.
And how far along was she when she called to tell you?
She was a couple of weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks, she said.
And your response was?
I might be the possible father because I was having sex with her unprotected multiple times. And at the time, she was messing with the other guy.
It was apparent that baby mama was persistent in her denial game, but her testimony was not helping in the conflict. So Judge Lake jumped into a situation with her conception calendar. That made Miss Scott even more confused like this.
The window of conception is July 28th to August 3rd. And you claim you were in a relationship with Mr. Moore in July.
We had sex, Your Honor, in July and August.
It happened in August. We moved in together in August. We had sex together in August.
Finally, it was time to hear from the co-plaintiff. Miss Williams claimed that Mama rolled up on Facebook and asked Mr. Moore to buy baby stuff for her daughter. She alleged that Miss Scott had even made a collage of her son with her daughter and told baby daddy to get a DNA test.
When I had our son together in 2016, Mr. Moore had posted my son on social media. Miss Scott, she took it out of her own perspective and put my baby and her daughter in a collage and sent it to Mr. Moore and was like, we need to get a DNA test done.
However, the woman once again put on her moronic hat and denied the claims. She stated that there was no point in doing such things because the baby was not his. But the daddy was determined to prove that the baby was his biological daughter.
His baby looks like him. My daughter looks like me, and she resembles her dad.
She looks like me. She got the same pointy ears just like I do.
Pointy ears. A lot of people have pointy ears. Her dad has pointy ears.
And she has the same forehead as resembles mine.
Child, this big old forehead on my head. Got my head, my forehead, look like me, my child.
Manifestly, the whole back and forth accusations were making this exhausting family drama worse instead of resolving it. So, Judge Loring decided to announce the DNA results to end this drama once and for all.
Mr. Moore, you are the father. You are the father, Mr. Moore. That's your little girl.
That's 4 years I missed out, but I'll make it up to her, I promise.
To defend her deceased brother's honor, Miss Chris landed in paternity court to prove that Mr. Ventris was not the biological father of Miss Thompson's baby Malachi. She has petitioned the court for a DNA test to sort out this matter once and for all.
Ms. Thompson, you claim that the plaintiff's brother, Ventris Chris, is Malachi's father and say today's results will prove your case and clear your name. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the aunt landed in court on her family's account. She asserted that baby mama was flip-flopping because at first she discounted her sibling and declared another man as the father, but later changed her mind when the baby looked identical to Mr. Ventris. Now she can't blame anyone for the doubts.
She said this was another man's baby before it was my brother's, before she came to my brother.
I never said it was no another person baby.
Yes, she
I never
did.
said who my baby father was.
Yes, she did. She's flip-flopping. You know?
I never flip-flop.
You're flip-flopping because first you said it was another man's baby. That's why you didn't tell my brother that it was his baby.
No, I told your brother.
No, you did not.
The plaintiff disclosed that the mommy had never been in any relationship with her brother, yet she accused him of fathering her son. But Miss Thompson opposed the lady by claiming she had an on-again, off-again fling, in which the man impregnated her.
Are you suggesting, Miss Chris, that Miss Thompson was sleeping with your brother's friends as well?
Yeah, a couple of them, yes.
No, I never slept with his friends. I
yeah.
know that. We was just on and off. He had a lot of girlfriends.
So what made you think you was special?
Oh, baby, I knew I wasn't special.
So you knew he had a lot of girlfriends?
You don't have to be special to someone to get pregnant.
No, you don't.
Let's say that.
As you all know, when babies conceive babies, life turns out immediately. So as happened with Miss Thompson. She did not know that she was carrying a child till she was 17 weeks pregnant. Gosh, I want to display a disclaimer down here for teenagers not to engage in sexual activity.
I called the doctor, set up an appointment, and when I got there, they confirmed that I was pregnant.
And so at that time, you knew exactly who the father of your child was?
Yes.
And did you call Mr. Chris?
Yes, I told him that I was pregnant.
Did you tell him he was the father?
Yes.
However, Miss Chris wiped off the mommy's statements. Mr. Ventris denied the baby Malachi from the start because the defendant told him that she had slipped into another guy's bed, so the baby did not belong to him.
My brother was denying the baby. This girl was pregnant, but she never told Ventris that it was his baby. She was saying that she was pregnant by somebody else. The baby came out looking like Ventris, you know? He's a handsome little boy, you know? That's when he called me. I guess they was having some little family issues.
Further, the plaintiff disclosed that Miss Thompson brought Mr. Chris back into the picture when the baby started to look like him. They got excited to take the baby in as part of their family. so they were rooting for him like this.
When the baby was younger, it favored Ventrice, and I wanted this would be his first baby. I wanted to be. He don't have any kids. Me and him already close. So I'm like, oh, it's a baby. I'm excited. I'm gonna go get it. So I go get it. Me and my mom examine the baby. Look, we got the baby up to me. We got the baby up to Ventrice.
Next, it slipped out that the tragic death of the alleged daddy made the aunt deny the baby. Miss Chris claimed that baby mama was clout chasing. Clout chasing? Are we just using weird new terms for calling someone dumb and a fool?
She was just really like clout chasing, and then when you die.
What's clout chasing?
Clout chasing is like she wasn't doing what she was doing when she just told Ventrice. She was like under the radar, not trying to keep it a secret. But when Ventrice got killed, she was all baby Ventrice this, baby Dusky this.
I've been saying baby Dusky before he passed.
Wow, I guess Miss Thompson was thinking that she was playing the role of Boo Boo the Fool. First, she brought another man into the picture, then she denied sleeping with anyone in the window of conception. And now she confessed that she had a boyfriend with no sexual relations.
She thought
my boyfriend couldn't.
was
no
that baby
possibility
father.
that my boyfriend could be his father. We didn't
So
start
you never
messing
told
around
us
till
it was-
after I found out.
So you're saying you met your boyfriend after you already conceived Malachi?
No, after I found out I was pregnant.
After
with
you,
Malachi.
well, that's probably what I meant.
Baby mama was bluffing and making up defensive stories, but the auntie cut off her chase. The plaintiff revealed that when they asked the defendant for a DNA test, she fabricated the story with her moronic lies, like this.
When me and my mom contacted her, like, did you order the DNA test? Oh yeah, I ordered the DNA test. It's in the mail. It's still in the mail. So
No.
So basically, she said to you, "I'm getting one, and it's in the mail," but it never came.
She
I
was
was gonna
avoiding
get
because she
one.
knows this not my brother.
No, I was never avoiding it. I wanted a DNA test every time.
But we didn't get one, and that's why we're here today.
Exactly.
Yes.
It was obvious that both women at the podium were playing denial games, and their ongoing testimony was not helped in this paternity dispute. So, the last call to give them the closure they needed was to disclose the DNA results.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Marianne Miller and Malachi Thompson is 0.001%.
You knew
they
it
are
wasn't.
not related.
You knew it wasn't. And I just want you to stop on Facebook saying, that's my brother baby, because you knew in the first place it wasn't.
What would you do if you found out that your girlfriend was cheating on you with your dad, and now they possibly have a child together? I'm sure nobody wants that shoe to fit. Still, if it does, then paternity court is the place to be.
Ms. Marr, ex, Mr. Belding, and his mother have made false accusations about the paternity 3-year-old daughter, Jordan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Belding, you're here with your mother. You claim little Jordan's biological father may be your own father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Amber was living with her father-in-law for 3 years, and this interjected the doubts in the defendant. He stated that the plaintiff had shared the bed with his father. Ugh, that's so gross.
We were living in Georgia. We shared a room with Amber.
He had nowhere to go, so I took him in.
Excuse me, Your Honor, but his sister lives there. He has numerous friends in Indiana.
His sister would not
I live
with
there.
her.
He works. He could have lived other places than with her. He's lived with her off and on for the past 3 years.
It was
Yes.
Excuse me.
Even he had a strong reason to doubt, but he claimed that his doubts turned into convictions when his companions told him that his baby mama had a sexual relationship with his dad. Meanwhile, Granny added that the woman had tested a man already, but things didn't go well in that case.
She told us that it was a
I still have-
possibility to begin
I
with.
have all the proof of that.
She thinks Zach's the dad, but he can't do nothing with her. He's not allowed.
And yes, she did let me in one time to see Jordan.
3
But
times.
any other times, she slammed the door in my face.
Except for the night you spent the night and you had sex with her, which was just 2 months ago,
Yeah.
Your
We
Honor.
didn't have sex. Your
So
friend
for
was
them
in
to
the
be
same
together
bed,
for
Your
a year.
However, the defendants claimed that Miss Marsh was a bonehead to them. They alleged that the plaintiff was promiscuous and she had another man sign the baby's birth certificate. But the mommy swabbed their claims with her evidence.
I would never, ever give it that man.
She already
He's been a
said he's
childhood
going to be
friend
the
for
dad. I'm going to sign the birth certificate. We were all there when it happened.
because he was around for 9.5 months.
If she thinks I'm the father, why did she have another man sign the birth certificate?
I have a birth certificate right here. Birth certificate's right here, and there is no other man on
Okay,
this
can I
birth
say it's because she lies to us all the time?
Next, Mr. Belding asserted that he believed that his father could not stoop so low. But as he had lived together and Miss Amber might have seduced him while he was drunk, because she used to walk around him half naked.
Mr. Belding, you don't think you're Jordan's biological father, and you really think your dad is.
I wouldn't think my dad would do something like that. But if he was drunk, they were living together, obviously, and she walks around the house half naked.
I never walk around the house half naked.
I've had to tell her to put clothes on when she was 14 years old, and I went to the trailer to visit him.
Oh my! It turned out that Belding Sr. had told his son that he and his girlfriend had slept together multiple times. These claims changed Miss Marsh's story into a nasty confession like this.
It was different rooms in your testimony earlier.
Yes, in my 3-bedroom apartment, it was different rooms together.
See, now see who's lying, see how the story changes?
So wait a minute, so wait, your story...
Our story isn't changing like hers.
Do you think it's appropriate for you to be sharing a bed on any level?
Well, we don't sleep in the same room.
His father?
It was apparent that things were not making sense and got stuck at one point. So, Judge Lake asked Mr. Matthews about the situation. He testified that he had never laid a finger on his daughter-in-law.
How do you feel your son is accusing you of being the father of Ms. Marsh's daughter?
It's a little frustrating.
Your son, he's concerned that you're the person that invited her to live with you. When you guys went to live in another state, he says you arranged for her to come with you guys. Is that true?
No.
Next, it slipped that another man had been taking care of Miss Marsh's baby. But the defendants claimed that the baby mama was also unfaithful to her new boyfriend, and she slept with Mr. Belding again.
You're saying Mr. Hull is your boyfriend now?
Yes, ma'am.
And you did not cheat with Mr. Belding
No.
less than 60 days ago?
No, we never had sex. His best friend was in the same bed.
You were in the bed with him?
Yes.
And your
but it
friend
was not
on
2
the
months
floor?
ago.
Yeah, it was.
not 2
It was
months
less
ago,
than
Your
2
Honor.
months ago, Your
No,
Honor.
it wasn't.
When was this?
It was way before me and him got together.
And you two been together how long?
4 months.
Okay, Judge Lake had heard enough of their nasty accusations, and their back and forth was not making sense in their paternity jumble, as all of this was just beyond words. So, she called up for the envelope.
Mr. Belding Sr., you are not Jordan's father.
Thank you.
Already knew that.
Mr. Belding Jr., you are her father.
Thank you.
That's my baby.
That's our baby.
That's my baby.
This case was outright palooza, as Mr. Hammond claimed that his debauched spouse had imperiled their marriage with compulsive lies. He claimed that baby mama was busy with another when she conceived the baby.
Mrs. Hammond, you claim that after 10 years of marriage and repeated attempts to get pregnant, a month ago you finally gave birth to your miracle baby, Isaac. You need today's result to prove to the defendant that this is his baby. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Initially, the defendant shed light on the habitual lying part. He claimed that his spouse had numerous guys in her life. She had a habit of manipulating people. Even she had made him a fool in their whole marriage of 11 years. But now, it's time to show that enough is enough.
She lies to my face constantly. So how am I supposed to believe someone who's telling me it's night and it's daytime, you know what I mean?
So you say she lies to you all the time?
All the time. She had me in a snowsuit in the middle of summer. I can only be the fool so many times to where I'm putting my dukes up because I'm tired of being that fool.
It turned out that Mrs. Hammond's promiscuity was at the peak that even her lovers gave the red flag to the defendant and dropped him a video of them banging his wife. But Mommy tried to wipe it like this.
I've seen a video of my wife giving oral to another man.
That is such a lie. There is no video.
But was there a man and was there oral sex?
In all honesty, there has been cheating on both sides. My husband cheated on me first. I took it the wrong way. About a year after that happened, I did end up, I cheated on him. It was known on both sides. It wasn't something that I hid.
So, to prove his claims, the potential daddy brought evidence, which alleged that Mr. Hammond caught his wife texting another, which enraged him, and he ended up posting something on Facebook. That should not be posted on social media. Come on now.
The other man writes, "So good to finally see you. You look hella good, babe. Made my day for sure." And then you write, Mrs. Hammond, "Just made it back to Sac. And I miss you already too." And then the other man says, "Thank you for texting me. Can't wait to see you again. Kiss, heart, kiss."
Right.
However, the plaintiff was consistently lying. She contended that there was nothing true in those text messages because it was one of her friends. But this time, Judge Lake jumped cut her chase off and did not let her nincompoop her like this.
I met him at our local county park, said hello to him. It was a friend that we had both worked with.
Don't waste my time. This is not an exchange between a coworker and you just met at the park for a minute. It ain't that many kissy faces in the world that you got to type after you meet a coworker at the park.
Moreover, it was slipped that the woman had numerous other people in this paternity run, as she had been moving around with a single status that even claiming to be married shocked Mr. Hammond.
You believe that this person could be Isaac's biological father?
Yes, ma'am, and numerous others. I mean, she's moved so single, I don't understand how she claims to be a married woman.
One after another, Mommy's lies were being caught, so Judge Lauren jumped into the birthday party. It was disclosed that the man did not help her even when she was about to give birth. He abandoned her and went to a casino with another woman.
He left me at my house. He left and went to the casino with another woman. Mind you, after my water broke, I had to drive myself to the hospital. He didn't show back up to the hospital until 20 minutes before I gave birth, and he was there. He cut the umbilical cord, stayed for about maybe 45 minutes, and he left again.
But the husband denied the claims and stated there were no other women with him because he went to gamble only. This weird part triggered Judge Lake, so she reacted like this.
Why were you at the casino gambling if your wife's giving birth
That's a good
to the
question,
baby you
man.
prayed for?
Right, I can't have an answer for that one, because I don't know.
What kind of craziness is this?
Right?
Now that's one we've never heard, Jerome. My water broke, great, I'll be at the casino.
Right. Jackpot.
Apparently, Mommy was a trollop and her unfaithfulness had made things go south. Still, the potential dad claimed that his spouse cheated on him with multiple men, even if it could be 13, 16, or more, because Mama lied and swindled a lot.
How many times have you cheated?
I've been with 3 other people.
I know at least 6 that she's been with.
Why are you saying these numbers?
Because she would tell me anything. I mean, I've been the brunt of the joke many times, you know what I mean? So it's hard for her to say, this is your child.
Even though Miss Hammond's cheating had left her marriage at a vulnerable point, the only way to determine the truth about the baby was to uncover the secret the DNA envelope was holding. So, let's get to those results.
Mr. Hammond, you are the father. God answers prayers.
Yes, ma'am. I get that. It's time to be a man.
What would you do if you see a girl wearing tight pants? Would you slide into her bed by selling dreams of wedding bells, as the man did in this case? Mr. Wiggins rolled up in the court seeking Judge Lake's help to get back his family. Let's hear what brought him into this mess.
Mr. Wiggins, you are here in court to prove that you are not the father of Miss Davis's child, Aubrey Wiggins, and say today's results will change your life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. As a result of being alleged the father of Aubrey, I lost my wife and I want to regain my family.
You lost your family?
Your Honor, I was married and me and my wife went through a separation due to a rough patch.
Wow, a brief separation gave him the pass of sleeping with another woman. It turned out that in no time, he was up to jiggery-pokery with Miss Davis. Yet he wanted to free himself from accusations of being a father to a baby girl because his family was at stake.
We was never together.
Yes,
I was married, Your Honor. It just, it kind of went longer than it should have.
But your hope is that if you can prove that Aubrey is not your biological child, that you can convince your ex-wife, which is, the woman, I guess she left because of this situation.
Yes, ma'am.
That you want to try to put the family back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Further, the defendant claimed that they were in a committed relationship for 2 years, and the man admitted to manipulating and lying to this young lady for his gain. Yet, blaming her was the reason he lost track of his family. Oh my, what kind of man is he?
I knew I was in a relationship.
You did?
2.5
We
years
were
we
not.
was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
Obviously,
you might have gotten more than you bargained for, right?
He did. He did. A child. He wanted to marry me. He wanted to get a divorce from his wife.
No,
he wanted
Your
to be
Honor.
with me.
No.
Next, Judge Lake hopped into the pregnancy. It slipped out that Mr. Wiggins' mistress wanted his wife out of his life because she expected to have her whole life with him. So, put on his deception hat and duped baby mama like this.
And I was good to her, because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her. So I did what I had to do, I felt I needed to do.
2.5 years, how we're not together?
Things happen or said in the bedroom that may not always be.
However, he asserted that Miss Davis approached his wife on Facebook and disrupted his married life. Man, are you out of your mind? He has no control over his desires and yet inoculated the defendant for the havoc? That just makes no sense.
She inboxed her on Facebook, which
Right.
caused a lot of havoc in my life.
You wasn't gonna be a man.
Did it cause the havoc or did you cause the havoc?
He did, because
Miss Davis immediately was like, well, it doesn't matter what nobody else think. Oh, I ain't going nowhere.
Right,
there was
'cause you
this
lay down with me.
This position.
that's your
I've got you
father,
now.
so you know.
I've got you now.
Okay, so the next Chronicles of Wiggins started. He claimed that mommy had been busy with another man at the time she conceived the baby because he saw some text messages on her phone. So that's why he was denying paternity.
My family member seen her be picked up by another guy.
That was my cousin.
That
I
she
wasn't
claims
guilty.
to be her cousin. While we were at the hotel, she happened to be taking a shower, and I think I was using her tablet for something. And this guy inboxes about meeting her again, and she's telling him, oh, I need some more
I never
loving.
slept with him,
So
Your
to
Honor.
me, saying more means that it's already happened.
To prove his sham show right, the alleged father brought an exhibit to the court. He alleged that Miss Davis had fabricated his name on the birth certificate, but how she forged his name was quite interesting. Duh. But the baby's mom wiped off all his lies like this.
This is the birth certificate. Apparently she knew my name. This is the birth date that's listed on Aubrey's birth certificate. My birthday is November the 9th, 1990.
The one
this
you wrote.
says 11/11/1990.
And
I
you
didn't
wrote.
write anything. And also in the state of Florida, because I was married, I wasn't just supposed to go on her birth certificate.
Till now, it was apparent Mr. Wiggins was a compulsive liar who was putting on sham allegations about baby mama, and he was clowning just to defend himself. Further, it came out that they were still sleeping together, and it ticked Judge Lake, so she articulated the reality like this.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
No, Your Honor, we was at separate hotels, no, Your Honor, that's not
And you made your way to my hotel.
That is not true,
Right.
Your Honor. We did go to dinner, Your Honor. But
And afterwards?
I went to my respective places.
No, he came to my room.
Mr. Wiggins, you look like you lying.
No, because
Yeah, Judge Lake was right. He was playing on both sides of the fence, yet contended that he wanted to get his family back. However, their back and forth did not help and made things more complicated. So the last hope to get closure was to reveal the DNA results.
Mr. Wiggins, you are the father. Miss Davis, what are you feeling?
I've been going through this for a long time, like between him and his wife, like.
It's his child.
Right.
You are the father.
Never let anyone take your absence for granted, or it may trap you in the paternity muddle. Mr. Taylor addressed Miss Jackson in front of Judge Lauren to settle down the heated mess. He claimed that the defendant had made him a buffoon, as she was pregnant with someone else's baby, and he was unaware till 9 months.
Ms. Jackson, you admit to an affair during the window of conception with Mr. Green, who will join us momentarily, but you are in court today to prove to Mr. Taylor that he is your son's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The trial began with the deceiving saga. It turned out that the plaintiff turned on ghost mode, abandoned his family, and went to another city to pursue his career. Mommy claimed that she buzzed him on the phone, but he turned his back on her. Ugh, then why play the victim card?
Mr. Taylor left me and my children stranded in Florida while he went away to, I guess, chase his dreams, knowing
may I
that we
say
had
something?
nobody and knowing that we had nothing. And I felt alone and I felt as if I had no one. And I felt that Mr. Green was there for me when Mr. Taylor was not there for me.
It turned out that when Mr. came back in the picture, the woman was already having hanky-panky with another man. But Mama shed some light on the truth. She said that Daddy never looked back to his family. So to find comfort, she brought another man in the picture.
Mr. Taylor didn't send
Where
any
Mr.
money
Green at?
while he
Why
was away.
is
All right. This supposed job opportunity that he had, during this job opportunity, he never sent me or the kids any money. We barely had any contact with him. There was no one for me to turn to but Mr. Green. He was the person there for me, giving me emotional support.
Further, Mr. Taylor alleged that the defendant got intimate with the other man right after he left. That precipitated the bickering in the court, because no one was ready to drop their allegation. But the defendant buckled up and advocated that they wouldn't have been in paternity court if the man had used his mind.
3 days later, she was pregnant by October 12th. I left September 14th.
If he would have never left us there in the first place, this whole situation could have been avoided. If he would have just been a man about the situation, be a man about the situation.
He didn't have no money.
Leave a message.
Kids was on the verge of getting taken away.
I'm going to go.
He's saying.
However, Mr. Taylor disclosed that he has caught baby mama texting the other man. He told that she tried to settle with Mr. Green, but he denied the baby, so the mommy decided to make him adult and pin her child on him like this.
Who is she texting?
Mr. Green, can I name the baby after you, the standard third?
He knows the situation behind that. Your Honor, I was messaging Mr. Green because I knew that he was potentially the father of my child.
Whatever.
And yes, I was messaging him, trying to be on his good side because I didn't want us to be on bad terms.
How did you see her messages? You looked through her phone?
I went through her phone.
And you could see it all there.
I can't trust her.
For better understanding and to create some sense, Judge Lake summoned Mr. Green to the podium and asked about the particular situation. He said that things were not in good circumstances when he started messing with Miss Jackson. So, he asked her to move in with him.
When I met her, she told me that he had left her for a rap career in Atlanta. Just left and didn't want nothing to do with her, had nothing to do with her, didn't want to take care of the kids. So I'm sitting there and I feel bad. Right? So I sit there, I feel bad. She got 2 kids. I look over, she messaging him stuff. I didn't really know what for, so I didn't really care. But like I said, she told me he didn't care. He stranded me down here with the kids. He don't care about the kids.
From cheating to being caught red-handed, it revealed that the defendant changed her mind when she was kicked out of Mr. Green's house and got back with Mr. Taylor. But Mama denied the saga and shouted to her core to prove her point like this.
You move in with Mr. Green?
Yes, Your Honor.
At what point do you go back to Mr. Taylor?
When he dropped her.
No, he didn't drop me. I left.
When he dropped her.
No, I left.
When he dropped her. Everything I'm saying is
Your Honor, this man thinks
like
he's the smartest man in the world.
Just like this child ain't mine.
He knows it's a possibility.
Hold on, let's not get out of control.
As you know, one lie has the power to tarnish 1,000 truths, as it happened in this case. Miss Jackson first asserted that her fiancé was the father, but later it turned out that she didn't even know who the biological father of her baby was, because she swindled around both men at the time she conceived.
Your Honor, I don't know which one is the father because I had sex with both of them.
Thank you. That's it. That's why we're here. So the bottom line is you really don't know. You told him he was the father. You messaging him as well.
Telling him he the father.
Because you don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
It was evident that both parties were at daggers drawn, and no one was ready to drop their allegations. One after another, secrets were being revealed in the court, but nothing was helping them to get the closure they needed. So, Judge Lake pulled the strings and decided to announce the results.
His biological father is Mr. Green.
I figured. That's fine. If that's mine, that's good. And I respect you for being there.
I was about to say, you got a good child though.
First catfish and then stuck alone and raising a child, Miss McIntyre was just about done with Mr. Wilson's shenanigans, and after 3 whole years, she and her mother hauled Mr. Wilson to court to sort things out.
You are 100% certain that Mr. Wilson is your 3-year-old son, Jashawn's biological father.
Yes, correct.
Mr. Wilson, you say you have more evidence than this court has ever seen before to prove that Ms. McIntyre cheated on you numerous times.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when Judge Lake hopped into the paternity issue, it slipped out that the defendant was not denying the baby, even though he had his doubts due to baby mama's swindling nature. The plaintiff was blaming the defendant for duping them, while he was accusing her of being fast. Both parties were at odds. Further, Mr. Wilson claimed that mama kept the baby's birth secret from him. But it came out that, to avoid the situation, he rode on the lame excuses swing like this.
They claimed they didn't have no way of getting in contact with me. They called me after the fact he was conceived. I wasn't at the hospital.
No, he was
I wasn't
not
none
at
of
the
that
hospital.
because they didn't want me to be there.
He didn't have.
Period.
Why wouldn't we want him to be there?
Period. Because she don't like me, just like I don't like her.
He didn't have a ride.
So
That was his excuse.
For better understanding, Judge Lauren jumped into the doubt part. It was revealed that Miss McIntyre was a trollop. He claimed that his family had caught her cheating with one of his acquaintances around the time she conceived. which interjected the doubts in him.
I got texts that somebody that I personally knew face to face was messing around with Miss McIntyre around the same time I was messing around with Miss McIntyre.
So do you have that proof here?
Okay, then, hold on, not
Do you
only
have that proof here? No.
Not only
No.
that though, I have called Miss McIntyre in her phone
Where's the text?
a couple of times.
Okay, whatever he was trying to paint, the plaintiff wasn't playing along. Mr. I'm So Hurt went on doing his own thing, ignoring all the relationship protocols. The guy went like kooky mad in infidelity. No, we're not making this up. Listen for yourself.
You come back with two transies, right?
Super sleep. I was cheating
Yeah, you
with
can't hear that.
everybody
Can't
and
hear that.
anybody. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be real with you. Because at the point, I'm like, all right,
You
this
cheat on me with who,
relationship ain't not
Ja'Cory?
going.
Because super cheating,
Yeah, super. I'm gonna say super cheating.
it's elevated.
Yeah, I'm being honest with you. That was.
So you were just sleeping with anybody.
Well, at least he's being real about anything in life. Keeping in mind his social media persona, it was a huge leap of faith. Anyway, up next, Mr. Wilson brought his little show-up of conception calendar to the court. He alleged that during her pregnancy, she ghosted herself and did not let him do anything for her. And he did not hear from her for a long time.
We kind of didn't really start making it happen like that till like way after my birthday, which is on March 22nd. But since she said she was on January, we gonna fall with that. She was gone May, let's put it right there, ghost. Didn't know where to find Teresa. I'm hearing her line, not getting no texts. I never been to one doctor's appointment.
However, the defendant was stuck to his point that baby Jashawn was not his. He further claimed that baby mama was playing dirty games, but grandma did not let him play and bashed him like this.
Who you think is Jashawn's biological father if it isn't you?
I don't know. That's the question I'm trying to find out. I'm not going for
He's
it.
the dirty one. That's why the ghosts keep falling off. Of him. He's no
Ghosts don't even believe
They don't want him to be bothered, and I don't blame them.
All right, well.
It was evident that both parties were on different pages, and nothing of their testimony was helping in resolving this conflict. Hence, Judge Lake decided to read the DNA results.
Mr. Wilson, you are his father.
Told you. Told
That's all
you.
I needed to know.
Being dealt strong infidelity in return for love and faithfulness has left this blackjack dealer barely holding her ground. Starting at "Will you be my next ex-wife" notes. Mrs. Matson was done with being pushed around by her husband and his family. Sound decent, right? But if everything was that clear, why was there paternity doubt?
I haven't cheated on him.
You want sympathy?
He has done nothing but lie about me to everyone. He's lied to me about everything. I have defended him through thick and thin. He's got his whole family hating me, and none of them even know me.
A lot of info in just one breath. This woman has a lot to say, which popped the question of what started this mess of relations. Turns out that the defendant was hitting on this croupier on the very night of his wedding and using his smooth talk in a very peculiar way. Check it out.
You asked me if I...
Would like to be my next ex-wife.
Yep, we had our ups and downs.
Ups and downs?
2 years after that, we got married.
Yeah, you heard that right. A very odd way to make a pass at a woman. But apparently, it worked, as she was standing next to him, claiming soon to be his ex-wife. Was that flattering, miss? Coming to the getting married part, Mr. I'm Old But Charming got married to this woman while he was still married to his ex-wife. Sheesh. Let's just stick to paternity for now.
I had my first heart attack in 1997. I have a defibrillator. I've had many operations from then until now. Chances of me having kids are done.
You cannot have
Exactly.
children, you're sterile.
Yes.
The key word in Mr. Matson's testimony was sterile. That is why he asserted being shocked at the pregnancy news. However, the twist was that the plaintiff claimed the contrary. According to her, the guy at the podium was super excited at the news and was just clowning in the courtroom.
I told a doctor that it's our child, and he's like, "Are you sure? I didn't think you could have kids."
You tell the doctor, I didn't think I could have kids. The doctor's looking at you like, what?
What happened? And then the day that she was born, she comes out, she has red hair.
Depleted wasn't the only red flag. Mr. Matson also had a vasectomy, which narrowed down his chances of being a father to zippo. Unfortunately, the baby mama was almost 6 months pregnant. All of this is very interesting, but we still haven't reached the cheating part.
You openly admit that you were with other women.
Of course.
When you start going out with a man on his wedding day. You're gonna date a man that's married, then you marry a man that's already married. You shouldn't be surprised if this married man is cheating on you in your marriage.
You can't be happy, I'm gonna go somewhere else.
That sums things up very well. Nonetheless, after this came the tit-for-tat part. The feeling of being unwanted and the constant unfaithfulness of the hubby drove the baby mama to the edge of frustration and to seek solace in another man's arms. And she chooses to defend herself like this.
He's got no backbone.
I would have gave you a flight ticket to get the hell out of here.
Oh.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Yeah, you did. You bought me a plane ticket
And
to
what'd you
move
come
to
back for?
Nebraska. Because you begged me to come back and pay for my place back.
Looks like all the infidelity cards were out on a table. Could this possibly be the end of the drama? No, not at all, because there's a lot more coming in the form of a sister-in-law. Well, she was coming as the witness, but the woman had her Spanish opera on.
Excuse me, everything that comes out of her mouth is a liar. It's a straight lie. Everything out of her mouth, Your Honor, is a lie.
Okay, Ms. Lopez. When
yes,
have I ever lied to you? When have you ever lied? You? The first time I met you was at a funeral and you're
Let's get some order. Jerome, please go stand in between these women.
So the witness made some allegations and declared the mommy snake and a sore cheater, which burst out the wrangle between them. Yeah, somebody please tell them yelling out their vocal cords won't help anyone solve this toxic jumble.
She's nothing but a snake, a liar, a cheat.
And how do you know anything? You don't
that's
know
right.
me.
I don't know
In 5 years,
In
you have
5
not
years.
got to know me.
My brother's married, and she can't handle the fact that I'm still friends with his ex-wife. Excuse me, but we're
I don't
still
give
friends.
a care about.
You
I
don't
do not care
That's
about
right.
that.
However, it was the case of a cheater cheating on a cheater. Yet this nasty couple was not ready to drop their allegations, and their testimony was not helping, but flaring up the whole situation. So the last hope to get closure was to get those results.
You are the father.
Told you.
got a
Now you
miracle
can
child.
apologize to me because I'm not the. You're nothing but a.
You need to keep your language down.
Can arguing and fussing be catalysts enough to drive someone to swindle? Because that's what's happened exactly in this case. Miss Tant made her husband's accusations true by sleeping with his friend, which calls for paternity doubt about their 26-year-old son, Daniel.
I met this gentleman that I went to school with, decided to introduce him to my wife as a friend of mine, and next thing I know, he's coming over, messing with her hair, supposedly a hairdresser, giving her all the comforts that I should be giving her. I didn't feel that was right.
The two cozy people lived in the same complex as them, so he kept popping up when the defendant wasn't home. However, things went south when Mr. Wynn came early just to see his daughter alone in the apartment while his wife had gone to her lover's place. So the hubby opted for this action.
Knocked on the door of this gentleman and he opens the door in a pair of boxers and tells me, "Your wife ain't here." And Your Honor, I looked straight into the apartment when he opened the door and there laid her red lace panties that I bought and paid for.
Oh, in his house?
In his apartment, right at his foot of his bed. I was just ready to end it all.
Anyone would be devastated to walk through such a scene. But still, the Big Mama claimed that her ex-husband was just making things up and that lingerie wasn't hers. But hold up, as there was another instance coming, about which no amount of denial was going to help.
I was gonna kick the door in if they didn't open the door, because I knew she was in that apartment. And when she did open the door, she was dressed in nothing but a sheet wrapped around her. No clothing.
You opened the door in a sheet?
Yes, I did. That was also the day that I left.
Just like that, where the whole "I wasn't cheating on him," where did that claim go? Well, Janice's only explanation is that her husband acting crazy made her do it. She was giving Alan acquisitions life.
You opened the door in a sheet?
Yes, I did. That was also the day that I left.
She left me and my child, a family, for another man.
And it was due to the arguing and the fussing, and I couldn't put up with it no more.
So,
you're gonna accuse me of doing something, I'm not gonna tolerate it.
Wow, that's just intolerance taken to another level. Does that rule as the worst excuse for cheating? I don't know about you, but it does for me. Anyway, right 6 weeks later, the mommy found out she was pregnant. But when was the alleged father informed? Take a look for yourself.
I was 3 weeks pregnant when I found out 6 weeks later.
So, Mr. Wynn, when did you find out about the pregnancy?
Not till after the boy was 2 years old. She contacts me and tells me, "We have a son." So, I'm joyful. I have a son. I want to raise my son.
The poor guy is still persistent on making a family. Quite a revelation. They would shake the world of any normal person. That's why Mr. Wynn was processing such cruel information. But on the contrary, this paternal back and forth was just a daily jingle for Daniel.
From the earliest memory, every argument they've ever had always turns into this right here.
And so it would be...
It would just start out as an average, you didn't do this or you didn't do that, and then it would just blow up very, very fast and very, very quickly, and then it just turned into, well, is he mine? Is he not mine? Is it? And it just would keep going and going from there.
That was even hard to imagine, growing under such a tumultuous shadow of doubt. And what made things worse was that the other guy was deceased, so any chance of quality time with them was lost for Daniel. The only father he had was the guy at the podium.
Yes, ma'am, my dad raised him as my son. I took him under my wing. I made sure he had what he needed as he was growing up in life.
And that upsets you. You feel robbed of...
Raising my child, my family to carry on. My name stops with me.
Well, paternity secrets do tend to work like that. They're always lurking, and even woven into the fabric of the family, destroying the peace of everyone and anyone involved in the mix. Are the 3 decades of feud that led to infidelity and paternity doubts about to be cleared? Let's take a look, shall we?
You are not the father. I'm so sorry.
Keeping your car on a one-way street is just like keeping your marriage on track. Any wrong turn will result in a fallout. Like this woman's downfall, who wanted to prove the paternity of their baby to her husband to save her relationship. To give them closure, we need a DNA test.
You say the fate of your marriage is riding on today's DNA results. You are suing to prove that your 3-month-old son, Caleb, was fathered by your husband, Mr. Baker.
Yes.
You say if the DNA results prove you are not the father, you will leave your wife and family.
Yes, Your Honor.
The plaintiff said that her marriage was on the rocks and her drinking habits caused problems for them. Then, the judge asked the defendant about any possible trust issues they got, and he shared the complexity of their relationship.
And I don't condone the actions that we took in our relationship. I was married, she was married. And whenever you have 2 people who are in a monogamous relationship, there's always going to cast doubt on the back of your mind. And when we did that, we hurt a lot of people. We have 12 children today, but 11 children were deeply hurt.
The judge stated that it couldn't be the only doubt that was troubling him, and he revealed that she had a money spending issue that had caused several problems in her previous marriage as well. So the judge confronted the plaintiff about this matter.
Well, I know that she went on a very public show.
Which show did you go on?
The Oprah Winfrey Show.
And I wanted you to confirm that because I actually do remember that episode. Your husband thought you were a certain amount of money in debt.
Correct.
The number was like
tens of thousands.
Exactly.
Yes, Your Honor.
I remember that.
This issue was bigger than infidelity itself. So the judge asked her about any cheating act, and she claimed that due to her drinking habits, she couldn't recall it properly. Then the defendant got questioned about his inability to have children, and he explained it.
While she was pregnant, I had a vasectomy. Once the procedure hits the 20-year mark, they literally put it into the realm of impossibility. Since it's been 23 years, you've got to question, is it even possible for me to even conceive a child?
So here, the considerable confusion of this case begins. Then the plaintiff said that after noticing her belly, she took several pregnancy tests and all positive results made him confused. So the judge asked Mr. Baker's thoughts on this.
I Googled what can cause a false positive. Obviously, number 1 is pregnancy. Number 2 is ovarian cancer. Number 3 is uterus cancer. Number 4 is any cancerous tumors in the uterus. I never slept that night because the only thing that's going through my mind is the obvious. Well,
the internet guide is not always recommended, and he remained confused like all of us right now. But it got them bad, as both of them believed that it was cancer and went to the doctor for tests. But due to their disbelief, they were confirmed about the pregnancy. Next, the plaintiff shared her thoughts on this reveal.
We contacted a gentleman who is the predominant specialist, and they sent us a package. When we thought about it, we have 11 children, 5 grandchildren, and we threw the package away. And then 6 months later, we regretted that we threw it away, and we ordered a second one. Regrettably, we threw away that second one.
Miracles can't always bring happiness, as it was clearly shown here. It was still hard to believe the plaintiff's truth, as she could still be lying. The issue was confusing as hell and didn't need more testimony. So the judge brought in a doctor to speak on this troubling matter.
Men don't do the proper follow-up after the vasectomy to ensure that it was in fact successful. Typically 3 months and then again a year later for follow-up.
Did you do the 3-month follow-up?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, then to follow up again at a year to make sure that the vasectomy did not fail.
Did you follow up at a year?
No, Your Honor.
Every detail and proof was laid out, but this case was still tangled in complexity. The paternity of a little innocent baby and their marriage both were at stake, and any outcome of DNA could make or break them. But the truth had to be revealed.
You are the father.
The teenage married couple had a hard time when grandparents interjected the doubts. Mr. Gray hauled his spouse into court when her notorious past shattered his trust and demanded a DNA test to cast out their fear of raising another man's child.
You and your parents claim Mrs. Gray lied to you about her sexual past, and since discovering the truth about her, you now all fear the baby is not your biological daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim that your in-laws' influence is causing your husband to deny his child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Initially, the big mom shed light on where this all started. It turned out that the couple was up to hanky-panky in no time and ended up churning out the child in their childhood. Gosh, this gave me spine-tingling chills.
She and Tanner went to the bedroom and had unprotected sex. She was 14 and he was 15 years old. Within about 3 weeks, they called me into the bedroom. She explained to me that she was late on her period. I looked around for a few things to throw, and instead I went to the store and I got a pregnancy test, and I come back, tossed it at her, asked her if she knew how to use it, considering she was only 14 years old.
Up next, Mr. Tanner spoke about his doubts. He claimed that he had no thoughts of fathering the baby because she got intimate unprotected with him on their second date. But this was not it. Grandma articulated the other terrible doubts like this.
How about when her family tried to explain to you that if the baby comes out black, that it's still yours? And they had him convinced of this.
That's an interesting fact even for the court.
Yes, yes. I'm like, it took me and my oldest daughter 2 days to convince him that that was not the truth.
Their relationship went too far, and for a moment, I thought they ended up having a baby unwillingly. But Mr. Gray cleared up this confusion. Turns out that two dumb adults planned a baby in adulthood.
Did you say on that date, that second long date, that you wanted to have a baby?
Yes, Your Honor, but he also agreed to, because obviously I turned up pregnant. So if he didn't agree to it, then, I mean...
So you all are 14 and 15 years old, 2 babies, making a decision that y'all gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
Even though there was no justification or reasonable explanation for their senseless action, the mommy claimed that they worked on the baby-making procedure in the heated moment. Ugh, what's wrong with these children? I must say, this is a classical episode of babies having babies.
Considering the fact that during the heat of the moment, I had said something about, getting pregnant, and Tanner, he seemed like that he was agreeing with me, and during the heat of the moment, he got me pregnant.
So it really wasn't a good decision.
It was a mutual agreement.
Based upon irresponsibility and bad decision making.
However, Mr. Tanner claimed that even though he was responsible for making the baby, he still had his doubts. He claimed that peeking into his wifey's emails stunned him, cause he ran down in multiple sexual conversations, but the girl played stupid.
Gotten and broken into her email accounts, and 2 to 4 weeks prior to our first date, actually, she had sexual conversations with numerous guys, and I had proof of that. I had sat her down and I told her all about that, and first she denied it. I got into the email again to show her what I had found.
Till now, it was clear that Mrs. Gray was promiscuous, as she had 6 potential fathers that raised doubts. But the granny claimed that Caitlin was pinning the baby on her son because he was the best one among her other playboys.
She looks at you and tells you, yeah, I slept with 6 other people.
Yes.
My son was the best one out of the ones in which she slept with. Well, considering the fact we had a beautiful, nice 6-bedroom home, and she's seen that, and she took advantage of that.
She came over on that second date, and that Christmas tree was sparkling.
Absolutely.
It was evident that dumb teenagers ended up in the paternity mess due to their stupid decisions, but they both badly needed DNA results to save their relationship. So, Judge Lake decided to announce the results.
You are her father.
Mr. Elston called off his engagement to Miss Gregory due to paternity doubts surrounding their son, Carson. Miss Gregory has petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Elston was the biological father and hoped that DNA results would save her family.
You have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove Mr. Elston is the father and hope the results will save your family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You and your sister state you are certain you are not her child's father and say her ex is Carson's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
It got slipped that baby mama took advantage of the situation as the man had a job out of the town, so she kept messing with her ex. But the co-defendant made her brother aware of the deceiving situation and confronted baby mama like this.
I work out of town. I do stuff like I send people over there to check on her. Multiple people told me that they caught her ex in the driveway, caught his car there.
Your Honor, I'm actually the one who caught her ex in the driveway. He works to take care of Carson, Carly, and the unborn child. And he called me, he told me to go to the house and check on Carly.
Here came the relationship recap. The woman disclosed that she met Mr. Elston through her ex, and in no time, they ended up in the same bed. Gosh, these people must have no brains. Who starts a relationship like that?
Me and Mr. Elston met through my ex at a basketball game. I was dating my ex and he was cheating on me at the time, so I felt comfort in Mr. Elston. He had a girlfriend also. We started sleeping together 2 weeks after we met, and then I got pregnant like almost a month later.
However, Miss Gregory testified that Mr. Elston did not believe her when she got pregnant and cut himself from her life. But he came back to her after the baby was born. He came to the hospital and begged her to name the baby after him. Well, girl, that was a stupid move.
It was in June. I had went to the health department. They said you were already pregnant, but I did not know how far along I was. So I had to go to my OBGYN. They told me I was 3 months along. He went with me to my first appointment because he did not believe me because, you know, he had a girlfriend. He thought I was just trying to break them up. And then after that, he had nothing to do with me the whole pregnancy.
Even though there was an important issue going on in the courtroom, it seemed like baby mama had something bigger than that issue. Duh, the baby's pacifier. So Judge Lake reminded her that the baby was worth more than a girl's pacifier. Like this.
He brought a girl pacifier and I would not accept it because I'm not fixing to give my baby a girl pacifier with Care Bears on it. And he got mad because of that.
Y'all about one step from Care Bears yourself. And that's the problem.
However, the co-plaintiff jumped into the situation and articulated the doubts part. She alleged that the plaintiff's promiscuity was at its peak as she had posted another man's picture on her Facebook, and the mama put on her lame denial show like this.
It's on Facebook that made my brother feel otherwise. It wouldn't be any doubt. She's actually posted a picture with another dude around the time she was supposed to be pregnant by my brother.
I got pregnant in March. That photo was taken in April. We were still together, but we broke up. Me and him had no sexual relationship in March.
It was apparent that Miss Gregory was trying hard to play a safe game, but she forgot that she was standing in Lake's court. So the judge reminded her by cutting off her drama and confronting her lies.
You just weren't sleeping with him anymore, but you just happened to go out to dinner with him and his whole family and put a post up about it and say, I love you with a heart.
Yes, Your Honor.
You realize every time you lie, then your fingers go like this?
No.
Are you saying you were not sexually active?
Yes, we did not have sex that month, Your Honor.
Next up came the conception calendar. It burst out the truth. The plaintiff confessed that she got intimate with another man in the window of conception. Yet the downer was that she slept with her friend's boyfriend. That was nasty.
You say you were intimate only with Mr. Elston at that time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which he is Carson's biological father. You had sex with your ex, who was then your boyfriend, in February. Is he the only person you had sex?
No, Your Honor.
Judge Lake cut the chase off, and we are all on her side. Whereas the testimony wasn't helping to resolve this conflict, and the only way to solve it was to get the DNA results. Let's find out if baby daddy will get the happiness and relief he's been longing for.
Both of you standing there with tears in your eyes. I think it's time we get the results. You are not the father.
The case of Miss Clifton and Mr. Little had an unusual sort of business going on, giving each other baby-making services. But now, when their dealing brought twins into the mix, both of them can't agree on paternity.
The results of a paternity test to
prove he's their father and to get him to pay up once again.
Yes, Your Honor.
You argue that when Miss Clifton's twins were 4 months old, you learned another man had claimed them as his own.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Little initially believed that the twins belonged to the other men in the photo, until he learned otherwise. It was like they struck the lottery when these two initially connected. But everything nice has to come to an end.
He lied and led me on. He led me to believe that he was single and that he was all for me. Thanksgiving, he was at my house. I made a joke to him, like, what would you do if I got pregnant? Just joking. And he was like, you can't do that. And I'm like, why? He said, because my wife would divorce me.
It came out that Mr. Little was still married while having sex with Miss Clifton. He had been keeping his whole ass wife a secret from Miss Clifton, which drove her insane. She knew he was trustworthy, but hearing him discuss this simply made her furious.
He had been working on my car. We separated for about 2 years. I had started dating someone else. At the time, he had did some work on my car that it was costly. It was a lot. I said, baby, I'm hurting right now. That's all I got. I said, matter of fact, my exact words is, I really need to keep my money. And he looked at me and he was like, well, you know what time it is.
Since Mr. Little also happened to be Miss Clifton's mechanic, the plaintiff went to him for a better solution that would save money. However, this arrangement of theirs was now costing them child support. Should have thought that one through.
I didn't say, is it mine or why you calling me? Because I've known her in the past and I know she's not the one to even play like that. So yes, I was like, okay, but she's pregnant, okay, cool, I guess we're having a kid.
At that point, you accepted
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you were the father.
Yes, Your Honor. I get a random text from her texting this other guy how much she loved him, cared for him, wanted to be with him. And
when Miss Clifton starts telling Mr. Little that another man might be the father of those lovely twins, things just end up becoming more difficult. Damn, from the beginning, these two have been quite insane.
He has a relationship with me, and he comes to see me. My kids
And
are there.
the kids.
My kids are always with me. I'm a real mom, a real stand-up mom. My kids are always with me. If I'm ain't at work or school where I'm at all day from 9 to 5 trying to provide for me and his kids, then I'm at home with my children.
That's
He
what
didn't
she
come
said,
till
Joanna.
Sunday to bring the kids
I brought-
items. I text him on Thursday.
Then comes something incredibly strange. When Mr. Little comes to see Miss Clifton to deliver some baby supplies to her, he runs into an unknown person leaving Miss Clifton's home. And guess what she says? Mr. Little is told by this insane woman that he shouldn't have shown up without permission. Woman, what? You're the one who requested items from him.
And when you reach out to me, you will hear me say, don't have no kids you can't afford to take care of.
Absolutely.
So you have to be on social media asking people, can they help you with your kids all around town? That's why if you reach out to me, you're gonna get the real truth. Because if I can't do it and he can't do it, somebody gotta do it.
So, up to the point where Mr. Little believed the twins were his, Miss Clifton had relationships with many men, and he was doing his best to assist financially. He now has doubts though, and the only way to eliminate them is to learn the DNA findings.
You are not.
This mommy here is not good at taking no for an answer. That's why the whole paternity denial was not much of her cup of tea. Standing in paternity court, Miss Parker is ready to fight for her child. FYI, the woman's got no shame in her game.
That's my big father. Anytime I want to have sex with him, I'm going to have sex with him. He called me, so, you know, we did what we did.
You have a child with Mr. Morton.
Yes, I have
already.
a 5-year-old son.
He's not the child in question.
No.
But you also still continued a sexual relationship.
Yes, with the both of them.
Oh boy, that was a little uncomfortable to hear. The mommy had been messing around with both decedents. Ugh, if so, then why was Morton claiming not to be the father? Well, according to the plaintiff, the girlfriend was instigating doubt, who refused to be blamed as the bad guy in the situation.
The only reason why she was able to have sex with us is because I asked my boyfriend to have sex with her. My desires, me and my little freakiness, I said, my boyfriend, can you have sex with your pregnant baby mother because she's in need?
Your Honor, that is not true. Before I even left to go anywhere, before I was gone for a while, we was having sex before then.
I'm not liking where this is going. However, it is what the paternity court handles, because a baby P had just appeared in this confusing container. Let's play along for his sake. So you people had a threesome going, and?
I know that that's my son's father. He looks exactly like my other son.
You say there's a timing issue.
Yes. She
So I wanna
supposed to have got
understand your
pregnant
doubt.
in May, but from my understanding, that's only would be 7 months if she
I
had
never
my son
said I
in.
got pregnant in.
We know the paternity court's conception calendar appears when the dates are off. In this instance, it was evident that the kid had only been alive for 7 months. Ms. Parker, however, objected to such a story.
The guy walks up to her, they talking and everything. He swears up and down Earn is his. She had to keep reminding him, it's not yours, boo, it's not yours. I had sex with you after he was on.
Exactly, I said.
But you told us that you didn't have sex with nobody
I just
after
said
you
I
got
didn't
pregnant.
have unprotected sex. That's
She
a lie,
all over the
'cause I was
place, Your Honor, that's what it
Your
is.
Honor, that's a lie.
She was all over the place.
Let's.
Since she admitted to having slept with another man by this point, it appeared as though the plaintiff was acting more obstinate than usual. She is aware that such circumstances cast doubt on paternity, right?
I love me. You understand me? I don't have unprotected sex. I trust this man. So yeah, every time, all you do
down
is
to me, but you had sex with me too, so that means you like me, right?
Yeah, do your thing,
That's
baby.
fine.
That's
I know.
all.
I
That's
know.
all.
I'm about that work. I
Okay,
know.
listen.
You tripping.
Then you only have unprotected sex with Mr. Morton.
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
Following that, the baby's mother revealed to the judge that the other man in the tale was her ex-boyfriend who abandoned them. After Miss Parker lost her child, she sought comfort from Mr. Morton, and as a result, the aforementioned baby was born.
He wasn't even away when I was
So the bottom
when I
line
was
is you
pregnant.
were in
while we
fact
was together.
pregnant by your
him,
boyfriend,
yes, I was.
but you
But I
miscarried.
miscarried.
I was pregnant by my boyfriend,
Right.
yes, but I had a miscarriage.
Exactly.
Subsequently, I got back in a sexual relationship with Mr. Morton, had unprotected sex, and I was pregnant again.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what I wanted to understand.
The whole time is a little jumbled, right? So it was time for the plaintiff. But when she went to see her doctor, it was revealed that the defendant was the father and not the ex. And now the Baltimore mom vowed she would not allow her child to grow up without a father.
Not to sign the birth certificate because you felt like I just have too many doubts. I don't want to do that. Have you been involved with baby Aaron since?
Yes.
He got doubts, Your Honor, but he on Facebook. My son, page from Facebook from off of his page. My son hands always in the air, but you got so many doubts.
Wait, this is a picture of
Miss Parker even had evidence that Mr. Morton had harassed the infant. According to her, his girlfriend's interference caused him to merely deny the child. This infant clearly stuck in a paternity mess, which the plaintiff found frustrating. And everyone is aware that this combination only needs one fix. It was about time to get to that.
You are Aaron's father.
Thank you. I told you, like I'm not no. Come on.